Did you know that something like 95% of your body's serotonin, that key mood chemical, is actually made in your gut, not your brain?
It's absolutely true. And those gut feelings, maybe butterflies when you're nervous, they're not just figures of speech.
Right.
They're real signals. Traveling along this incredible two-way communication system between your digestive system and your brain.
Okay, let's dive in then. This deep dive, it's all about unpacking that exact idea.
Yeah.
The gut-brain axis. It feels kind of ancient, but also totally cutting edge,
Mm-hmm.
And it shows just how deeply your gut health can affect your mood, your mental clarity, even how you think, especially as you get older, say, past 55.
And our mission today, really, is to walk you through what we understand now about this system. We're using research from top places, Johns Hopkins, Harvard, UCLA, the NIH.
The big names.
Exactly. To understand the science, sure, but also why it matters so much for how you feel and function day to day.
And it really is crucial for you, the listener. I mean, think about it. By your mid-50s, your gut's seen decades of, life. Stress, different diets, maybe antibiotics along the way.
Right. Decades of potential disruption.
Yeah, and the Cleveland Clinic says something like 70% of folks over 55 have regular digestive issues. And maybe it's not a coincidence that about 20% in that age group also struggle with mood shifts, anxiety, maybe that feeling of brain fog.
Well, traditionally, healthcare has often treated these things separately, hasn't it? Gut problems here, mood issues over there.
Completely siloed. You see a GI doc, then maybe a therapist.
But the research we looked at paints a really different picture, a deeply interconnected one.
Exactly. We heard it from Martha in Denver. She told us she had low mood for years. It wasn't until she and her doctor finally tackled her chronic digestive problems that things really shifted for her emotionally.
It's a powerful example.
And even my own family. See, my dad, addressing his gut health just seemed to lift this cloud.
And these stories, they highlight what might be the most empowering thing here. Your gut microbiome, that community of trillions of microbes inside you. It's remarkably adaptable.
So it's not fixed, even later in life.
Not at all. You have significant influence, which is great news.
So today, learning about the mechanics, how age plays a role, how specific bacteria influence mood, how medications interfere, surprisingly practical diet tips, talking to your doctor. It's all about empowering you.
Right. To help you maybe bridge those gaps in traditional care and be your own advocate.
Okay, so to really get this, maybe we should look back a bit. This gut-mind idea isn't exactly new, is it?
Oh, not at all. It's ancient wisdom, really.
Yeah.
Hippocrates, father of medicine, saying all disease begins in the gut.
I've heard that quote.
And traditional healing systems all over the world, they knew this connection intuitively.
But then modern medicine kind of specialized everything.
Exactly. We got incredibly good at treating organs in isolation. Gut department, brain department, mental health, way over there. And this complex physical link between them, it sort of got sidelined.
So when did the science start catching up again?
Well, research into the actual biological pathways, the gut-brain axis, it started gaining steam in the late 90s. But it really, really took off after 2010.
And that was because of new tech, right?
Yeah.
Sequencing?
Precisely. Suddenly, places like UC San Diego, WashU, Mayo Clinic, they could actually map and understand this huge microbial world inside us, the microbiome.
Which must have been a massive shift in thinking, especially if you grew up thinking bacteria were just bad germs.
A total paradigm shift from kill all bacteria to realizing this forgotten organ, this ecosystem, is vital for health, including mental health, and this history. It helps explain why getting this integrated view into everyday medical practice is still, a work in progress.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this chat between the gut and brain actually happen? What are the communication lines?
There are several, actually, really sophisticated pathways. The most direct one, probably the most famous, is the vagus nerve.
Ah, the information superhighway.
That's a perfect analogy. It's this huge nerve bundle running all the way from the brainstem down through your chest right into your digestive system. And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
About 80 to 90% of the signals on that nerve travel UP, from the gut to the brain. Your gut is constantly reporting back to headquarters.
So those butterflies, that gut feeling, that could literally be vagus nerve signals.
It's very plausible, yes. UCLA research showed cutting the vagus nerve in animals, it completely wiped out the positive effects certain gut bacteria had on the brain. It's a critical physical link.
Wow. Okay, what else besides the nerve?
The immune system is a massive player. Get this, 70 to 80% of your body's immune tissue, they call it GALT, gut-associated lymphoid tissue. It's located right there in your gut.
70 to 80%. That's huge.
It's enormous. And when your gut microbiome is balanced and happy, the immune system there is generally calm. But dysbiosis, that imbalance in bacteria, it triggers the immune system.
Leading to inflammation.
Exactly. Chronic low-grade inflammation. And the immune system releases these signaling molecules, cytokines. These can travel through your blood and actually cross the blood-brain barrier.
Causing inflammation in the brain itself.
Yes. And researchers like Dr. Charles Raisin have linked that brain inflammation directly to problems with mood regulation. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could this explain why chronic inflammation, which tends to increase as we age, is linked to higher rates of depression, especially in older adults?
That makes sense. And then there are the actual chemicals, the neurotransmitters. We started with serotonin.
Right. Your gut bacteria, they're not just hanging out. They actively make many of the same chemicals your brain uses. That 95% serotonin, often made with help from bacteria influencing gut cells, but also GABA.
The calming one.
The calming one, yeah. Produced by certain lactobacillus strains. Dopamine, too, pleasure, reward. Even precursors for norepinephrine involved in stress and focus.
So the bacteria in my gut are literally brewing chemicals that affect my mood.
In a very real way, yes. And research from Tufts and UMass suggests that supporting this gut production could be really important for sort of buffering age-related changes in brain chemistry after 55.
Are there other things the bacteria make? You mentioned metabolites.
And metabolites, yes,
Yes.
absolutely key. Specifically, short-chain fatty acids. SCFAs.
Okay.
Your beneficial bacteria make these when they ferment the fiber you eat. And the star player here is often butyrate.
Butyrate. Yeah, I've heard that name pop up. Why is it so important?
Well, research from Illinois shows it's crucial for keeping your blood-brain barrier strong. Think of it like reinforcing the gate that protects your brain.
Kicks the bad stuff out.
Exactly. It also dampens down neuroinflammation in the brain, and it supports something called BDNF.
BDNF.
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, sometimes called brain fertilizer.
Fertilizer. Okay.
Because it's essential for growing new connections between brain cells and maintaining cognitive function, clearly vital as we age.
So let me get this straight. Healthy gut bacteria eat fiber, make butyrate, which keeps the brain barrier strong, reduces inflammation, and helps brain connections.
You got it. It's a powerful chain reaction. And remember, while we're focusing on gut to brain, stress from the brain definitely impacts the gut too. It's a two-way street.
Right. Stress and stomach aches often go together.
They do. But the key point, especially for you listening, is that even though age might affect these pathways, the National Institute on Aging research suggests that actively supporting your gut is a powerful lever to help maintain them.
Okay, so zooming out to the whole microbiome, a forgotten organ with trillions of microbes, how does this inner world directly shape our mood, our mental state?
It's like this bustling inner city, right, at a 39 trillion residents. And the specific mix of who's living there, it has a massive influence.
Are there specific good guys linked to better mood?
There are. Research from places like UC San Francisco consistently links bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium to lower reported levels of depression and anxiety. They help keep the gut lining strong, calm inflammation.
And the bad guys.
Well, it's more about balance, but studies from Northeastern University, for example, have linked having too many of certain bacteroids types or just a general lack of diversity to higher rates of depression.
And you mentioned this connection might get stronger as we age.
It seems so, particularly after 60. The American Gut Project, that huge citizen science study, found that people reporting better mental health tended to have more microbial diversity and more of those SCFA-producing bacteria. This held true across ages, but the link looked especially relevant for older adults.
Okay, let's break it down. How does this affect mood specifically?
Well, some bacteria, like one called Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, bit of a mouthful, they're known to help support serotonin production in the gut. If those decline, it could impact mood. A cool study from UVA showed gut bacteria could even influence mood by activating immune cells that then talk to the brain. And we're seeing some promising trials using specific probiotics for mild depression in older adults.
What about anxiety?
Stress.
The microbiome is vital for regulating your stress response. That McMaster University work with germ-free mice, they totally overreacted to stress. Give them good bacteria, they calm down.
Wow.
And a UCLA study found women drinking a fermented milk product with probiotics had reduced brain activity linked to anxiety. Think how valuable that could be for people over 55 facing major life stressors.
And cognition, memory, big concerns for many as they age.
Absolutely critical connection.
Huh.
A 2019 study links specific gut bacteria patterns, especially those promoting inflammation, to faster cognitive decline in older adults.
Faster decline, that's concerning. But the flip side. Rush University research found a strong link between having more SCFA-producing bacteria and better cognitive performance, slower decline. Remember butyrate. It's directly implicated in memory formation processes.
And sleep. Does the gut play a role there too?
It does. It helps regulate our internal clocks, our circadian rhythms. Gut bacteria even help make precursors to melatonin, the sleep hormone. Research from CU Boulder suggests age-related sleep problems might be partly tied to microbiome shifts. Supporting your gut could potentially help regulate sleep.
So, knowing all this, what generally happens to our microbiome as we get older? Is it just downhill after 55?
Well, studies do show a typical trend after 55. Overall diversity tends to decline, and beneficial species like bifidobacteria often decrease. And yeah, this often correlates with more inflammation and more mood or digestive issues.
Okay, it sounds a bit discouraging.
And this is a huge but.
Yeah.
That decline is not inevitable. There was this fantastic study from the University of Cork. They looked at older adults, foil ones, active ones, and compared their microbiomes. Lifestyle factors, especially diet, had a much stronger influence than just age. Active seniors eating diverse diets, their microbiomes looked way more like younger adults.
That's incredible. So it's not about the number, the age. It's about what you do.
Exactly. Even well past 55, you have this remarkable power to shape your gut health and, by extension, potentially your mental well-being through your choices. That adaptability is maybe the most hopeful message here.
Right. Okay, let's pivot to something really practical. Common health issues and medications after 55. How do these everyday realities affect that gut-brain link?
This is so important because taking multiple medications polypharmacy is really common as we age. A Johns Hopkins study directly linked it in older adults to less microbial diversity and more gut and mood complaints.
So the pills themselves can mess with the gut bacteria.
They absolutely can, even drugs not targeting the gut.
Like what? Heart meds?
Yep. Some statins for cholesterol. Research shows they can alter gut bacteria, sometimes lowering the good guys. Blood pressure meds like calcium channel blockers or ACE inhibitors, they can slow gut movement, cause constipation, change the environment down there. Vanderbilt studied that medication-induced constipation.
What about metformin for diabetes?
That one's interesting. Complex effects. Can cause gut issues at first, definitely. But some research from Copenhagen suggests long-term it might actually boost some beneficial SCFA producers. It could be part of why some people feel better mentally on it.
And just regular pain relievers, like NSAIDs, ibuprofen, naproxen.
Oh, yeah. Known gut disruptors. University of Chicago research shows they can reduce diversity, damage the gut lining, increase leaky gut. That inflammation can then travel, potentially impacting the brain.
Can even psychiatric meds like antidepressants affect the gut?
Surprisingly, yes. UCLA research suggests part of how SSRIs work might actually be through changing the microbiome. One study showed fluoxetine increased some beneficial species in animals. This might explain why some people get digestive side effects when starting them.
And sleep meds. Seems counterintuitive if they disrupt the gut.
Right, but research from University of Washington suggests common sleep aids, both benzos and others, can alter gut bacteria and might even interfere with the gut's own melatonin production pathways. Could be a vicious cycle for sleep.
And it's not just the meds, right? The conditions themselves.
Definitely. Chronic stress or anxiety, common after 55. The stress hormones directly impact gut function and bacteria. OSU studies show stress lowers lactobacillus, increases Clostridium, not a good trade.
Metabolic issues. Type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance.
Often come with systemic inflammation. We know that disrupts the gut barrier and brain health. Michigan research connects this inflammation to microbiome changes that fuel mood and cognitive problems.
And things like diverticulosis.
Right.
So common.
60% over 60, the inflammation involved can disrupt the microbiome. UNC research shows fiber helps both the condition and the beneficial bacteria. Even GERD acid reflux and the PPIs used long-term. Mayo Clinic studies show PPIs alter gut diversity, increase infection risk. Some mood changes linked to long-term PPI use might relate to the microbiome.
Wow. It's a complex web. Conditions, meds, gut, brain. Does this mean people should just stop taking necessary medications?
No, absolutely not. That's not the message. This knowledge is power. Power for you to have better conversations with your doctor.
What should I actually ask my doctor?
Bring your list of meds, all of them, even over-the-counter stuff. Ask, do any of these commonly affect gut health? Discuss if a probiotic might help alongside a specific drug. Ask if there are alternatives, maybe less harsh on the gut. Talk about how diet could help counteract side effects. Awareness is growing among doctors. Some, like Dr. Michael Hockman, are advocating for medication reviews that specifically consider gut impact. This info helps you be part of that conversation.
Okay, so we get the connections, the challenges. What are the best things we can actually do to support this gut-brain axis, especially as we get older?
Diet. Hands down, it's the most powerful lever you have. Dr. Imran Mir calls the gut-brain axis a physiological reality shaped profoundly by what we eat. And the best part, changes happen fast, within weeks, even in your 70s and 80s, according to research.
Okay, number one, dietary focus.
Fiber. Increase your fiber. It's food for your good gut bacteria. Most of us get maybe 15 grams a day. Aim for 25, 30 grams. It's even more vital after 55 as digestion can slow down.
How do you add fiber without, well,
Issues. Go slow. That's key. Lisa Mosconi, a dietitian, advises adding just a few grams a day initially and drink lots more water. Maybe start with just one high-fiber food per meal.
Good sources, easy wins.
Ooh, beans and lentils are superstars. Half a cup of lentils has 8 grams. Berries, especially raspberries, 8 grams per cup. Avocados, apples, or pears with the skin. Oats, barley, nuts, seeds like flax and chia. Lots of options.
What about fermented foods? They're everywhere now.
Super important, especially as our natural levels of things like bifidobacteria can decline with age. Fermented foods deliver live microbes directly. That Stanford study in 2021, 6 servings a day for 10 weeks.
6 servings, that sounds like a lot.
It is, but the results were amazing. Increased diversity, lower inflammation markers, and the benefits were stronger in people over 60.
Counts. Yogurt.
Yogurt with live and active cultures, definitely. Kefir, unpasteurized sauerkraut or kimchi, miso, tempeh, kombucha. Even a Harvard study found older adults eating fermented foods just 3 times a week reported better mood and less brain fog. Doesn't have to be 6 servings.
Okay. Probiotic supplements. When do they fit in?
They can be a helpful addition for some people, maybe after antibiotics or if you have ongoing digestive trouble. Not a magic pill, though.
Are there specific strains linked to mood?
Research points to a few. Lactobacillus rhamnosus for anxiety stress support. Bifidobacterium longum for mood and cognition. A combo of Lactobacillus helveticus and Bifidobacterium bifidum showed promise for depression symptoms in some trials. Look for reputable brands, specific strains, CFU count, and definitely chat with your doctor first.
And prebiotics. Different from probiotics.
Great question, yes. Probiotics, the live bacteria. Prebiotics is the specific food for those good bacteria already in your gut, like fertilizer for your internal garden.
So they help the good guys flourish.
Exactly. Think garlic, onions, they have inulin, FOS, asparagus, slightly green bananas for resistant starch, chicory root, dandelion greens.
What about fats? Omega-3.
Not direct bug food, but crucial for lowering inflammation in the gut and the brain. Harvard research consistently shows this benefit. Fatty fish like salmon twice a week, flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts are great sources.
And all those colorful plant foods. Berries, dark chocolate.
Polyphenols, powerful antioxidants, and they also feed specific beneficial bacteria. A Tufts study on aging found older adults eating more polyphenols had better cognition and lower depression rates. So yeah, berries, good olive oil, green tea, dark chocolate in moderation, herbs, spices, load up.
Is there one diet pattern that pulls this all together?
The Mediterranean diet often gets called the gold standard for gut and brain health. It's naturally high in fiber, plants, healthy fats, often includes fermented dairy like yogurt. One big study showed it lowered depression risk by 1/3, especially effective for those over 60.
And what should we try to limit? Actively avoid?
Food processed stuff. Added sugars. UCSD research shows they tend to feed the less helpful bacteria and suppress the good guys. So things with long ingredient lists, additives, high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, fried foods, too much red meat. And remember Dr. Mayer's point in that Nature study, people in their 70s, 80s saw measurable gut improvements in just 4-6 weeks of dietary changes. It really isn't too late.
Okay, before we get to the action steps, let's bust some myths.
Yeah.
What are common misunderstandings that trip people up?
Good idea. What's one you hear?
Maybe that old idea. All bacteria are bad. Just kill them all.
So outdated. The vast majority are essential. We need diversity, balance, not sterility. Being germ-free isn't the goal.
Or the idea that gut problems are just physical, nothing to do with your head, or vice versa.
Right. Dismissing gut issues as just nerves or mood issues as purely psychological, we know now it's a two-way street. Your gut state absolutely affects mood, energy, focus. The symptoms are real, need integrated care.
How about just take this one probiotic pill and all your problems are solved?
Oh, if only. The microbiome is way too complex for that. Supplements can help, they're tools, but they don't replace the foundations. Diet, stress management, it's an ecosystem.
This next one feels really important and maybe harmful. You're over 55, your gut's set in stone. Too late to change.
That's just plain wrong. Contradicted by study after study, like that Cork research. The microbiome is incredibly adaptable your whole life. People in their 70s, 80s see big changes in weeks. Lifestyle trumps edge here. It's never too late.
Last one. Gut health is just about digestion. Doesn't affect anything else.
Totally misses the bigger picture. The gut's a central hub. Impacts immunity, metabolism, inflammation, even gene expression. And it's linked to the brain and makes it critical for your emotional state, your thinking. Understanding that holistic role is key, especially after 55.
Okay, myths busted. Let's get practical.
Mm.
Armed with all this, what are concrete steps you, the listener, can take starting today?
Let's make it doable. First step, awareness. Try keeping a simple journal for a week or two.
It goes in the journal.
Note digestive stuff, bloating, regularity, etc. Track your mood, energy, sleep quality. And roughly what you ate, pay attention to fiber, maybe count how many different plant foods you had each day. It helps you see patterns and gives you a baseline.
Then how do you start making changes without feeling overwhelmed?
Gradually. That's really key for sticking with it. Avoiding discomfort, especially over 55. OSU research backs this up. Don't try to change everything overnight.
Like a step-by-step approach.
Yeah, maybe try something structured. Week 1. Just add 1 fermented food daily and 1 extra serving of fiber. Week 2. Try the 30 different plants challenge. Keep a list for the week. Boost diversity. Week 3. Pick 1 processed food or sugary drink you have often. Swap it for something healthier. Week 4. Add a lifestyle habit, maybe a 15-minute walk after meals or 5 minutes of deep breathing. Or look at simple rules like Dr. Hyman's 5x5x5. 5 colors, 5 new plants, 5 grams fermented food daily.
What else besides diet?
Move. Daily movement. Even a brisk 30-minute walk increases gut diversity, helps lower stress hormones. Start small if you need to.
And stress management. Crucial, you said.
Absolutely critical. Chronic stress is gut killer. Find what works for you. Deep breathing, meditation apps, time in nature, hobbies, social connection, anything that helps you unwind. Non-negotiable. Bad sleep hits gut and mood hard. Aim for consistency. Create a wind-down routine. Make your bedroom a sleep haven. Maybe avoid caffeine or big meals late.
Simple hydration. Does that matter?
Makes a big difference. Enough water, 6 to 8 glasses, typically is vital for digestion, the gut lining, keeping the bacteria happy. Easy win.
And circling back to the doctor conversation.
Yes, vital step. Schedule that medication review. Bring your list. Ask specifically about gut effects. Discuss alternatives or supports like probiotics. Advocate for yourself using what you've learned.
Can supplements, where do they fit?
Diet first, always. Supplements are secondary, targeted tools. Probiotics. Think specific strains for mood, maybe. Prebiotics could help if fiber intake is tough. Omega-3s for inflammation. But always talk to your doctor or a dietitian first, especially with existing meds. The big message from all the research. Small, consistent choices add up. Pay attention to how you feel. Your body and mind are connected. They're adaptable no matter your age.
Let's make this even more real. Tell us about those stories from the source material. Robert.
Yeah, Robert, Michigan, 67. Low mood, fatigue. Tests showed low levels of those butyrate-producing bacteria. He focused on high-fiber foods, prebiotics, daily walks in nature. His digestion improved, sure, but his mood and energy lifted significantly. Eventually worked with his doctor to lower his antidepressant dose.
And Linda. Arizona, 68.
Recurring depression, meds didn't fully fix it. She switched to a Mediterranean diet, added fermented foods, started journaling, found her mood stabilize, energy up, cravings down. She was genuinely surprised by the changes at her age.
Sarah, Oregon, 60.
IBS, flared up by stress after losing her husband. Grief counseling was key, of course, but tackling her gut health was huge for recovery. Stress management techniques plus hydration, fermented foods, specific diet tweaks dramatically improved her IBS, her sleep, her coping ability.
So it's often personalized, a mix of things working together.
Exactly, and the experts really echo this. Dr. Emmerin Mayer calls it a physiological reality, needing personalized plans, and everyone's history is unique after decades.
Dr. Jane Foster. She stressed the medication impact, right?
Yeah, how often it's overlooked. And the importance of strategizing with your doctor. using diet, lifestyle to maybe counter those effects. Partnership.
Dr. Ted Dinan talks about psychobiotics.
Specific probiotic strains with mental health evidence. Suggests them as helpful additions for mild mood issues in older adults alongside other care.
And Kate Scarlatta, the dietitian.
Her point was about increasing plant diversity, but also finding enjoyment in eating well. Maybe cooking classes, trying new things, make it sustainable. When you pull it all together, these experts confirm this gut-brain understanding isn't just cool science. It's a practical framework for a more integrated, proactive approach to your health, especially after 55. So, wrapping up our deep dive, we've seen the amazing communication network. Vagus nerve, immune system, neurotransmitters, metabolites, a constant conversation.
We learned how trillions of gut bacteria directly shape mood, stress, thinking, sleep, and crucially, that your microbiome is adaptable, changeable, even after 55.
We uncovered how common conditions and medications can throw a wrench in the works, giving you knowledge to talk to your doctor.
And most importantly, we talked actionable strategies, focusing on diet fiber, fermented foods, prebiotics, healthy fats, plus lifestyle stress, movement, sleep, to actively nurture that connection.
It's this integrated view of physical and emotional health woven together that offers such an empowering path forward.
So here's your call to action. Pick one thing, just one from that list. Start today. Maybe it's yogurt for breakfast. Maybe trying 30 plant types this week sounds fun. Maybe it's just a 15-minute walk after dinner tonight.
And book that medication review. Go in with your questions about gut effects. Be your own best health advocate. If you want to learn more, some resources mentioned were
books like The Mind-Gut Connection by Dr. Emmerin Mayer, Brain Maker by Dr. David Perlmutter, or This Is Your Brain on Food by Dr. Uma Naidu.
Online, check the American Gastroenterological Association, the National Institute on Aging, Gut Microbiota for Health, or Harvard Health Publishing websites.
Apps like Care for tracking symptoms or Headspace and Calm for stress could be useful.
And look locally. Cooking classes, YMCA programs, university extension offices often have great resources. Just remember, these add to but don't replace advice from your doctor.
Okay, quick hits on common questions you might still have. First, how fast can you see improvements?
It really varies. Some people feel subtle digestive shifts in days, maybe 3 to 5. Mood, thinking, usually takes longer, maybe 2-4 weeks of consistent effort. For folks over 55, studies show measurable microbiome changes in 4-6 weeks often translate to feeling better. Consistency is the name of the game.
Food versus supplements for probiotics.
Food first. Fermented foods, diverse plants, that's foundational. Supplements are targeted extras, may be helpful after antibiotics for specific issues, or if you want research-backed strains, talk to your provider.
Can probiotics replace antidepressants?
No. Emphatically no. They are not replacements. If you're on medication, keep taking it. Discuss gut support with your doctor as a complementary strategy. Maybe dosages can be adjusted later, but only under their supervision. Never stop on your own.
Is it really ever too late, even if you're, say, 75 or 80?
Absolutely not too late. That's the myth we busted hard. The microbiome is adaptable your whole life. Those studies prove at 70s, 80s, seeing improvements in weeks with diet and lifestyle, your choices matter more than your birth year.
What are subtle signs my gut might be messing with my mood?
Look for patterns. Digestive upset, bloating, weird bowel habits happening around the same time as unexplained mood dips, extra anxiety, persistent brain fog, fatigue, trouble concentrating. That's your gut-brain axis talking, maybe signaling an imbalance.
So thinking about how our food choices, our stress levels, our daily habits literally shape those trillions of microbes inside us, and how they then shape how we feel and think. Consider this.
How much of your daily mood, your energy, your clarity is actually being cooked up right there in your digestive system.
What's one small tweak you could make to the recipe starting today?